Hi, everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw PLO KOON from Star Wars. Just so you know, there's a coloring book that you can get through Amazon. Just follow the link in my description and you can get a coloring book to show me how you color to how I draw. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll find a link that you can click on that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. I'll even include one for color. But for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. Okay, Star Wars. Awesome. This is going to be a really awesome one. Now, I'm just getting you ready because this is going to be not the last, but okay, so what I was trying to say was the last of the Star Wars, but it's not the last of the Star Wars. What I was kind of hinting at or alluding to is that I like to draw stuff as it's relevant. So as movies or TV shows, premieres, things like that happen, I like to make sure that I try to give you what's going on, that kind of thing. But nothing has been happening, right? Especially with COVID. Hope everybody's being safe. So I've just been drawing characters that will never be relevant to the times. In other words, you're never going to see a PLO KOON TV show or basically, yeah, you're never going to see him, so it's not going to be relevant, so I might as well go ahead and do it, is what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, heck, unless they make a PLO KOON, but anyway, I'm jumping from the subject, but the point is, I like to draw stuff when it's happening. Nothing's happening with PLO KOON. I doubt you'll ever see him again, so I wanted to get him in here, draw his character. Now, that being said, Mandalorian is going to be starting up soon, so I'm going to be back to drawing those. So that's kind of what I meant by last of the Star Wars, last of the I guess Jedi series I was doing, because again, you're not going to see a Jedi show. Well, you never know. Never say never. I would love to see more of these, but I mean, the problem is with the storyline, they've killed off so many that you're not going to see them. So that's what I mean. There's going to be no PLO KOON in a movie or something like that, unless they do some kind of something like Rogue One. I loved Rogue One. That was such a good movie. But considering everybody's dead, you're not going to see them resurrected in shows unless he's the Palpatine. Don't even get me started on that whole mess. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to do characters that aren't going to show up in new movies, So that's the whole idea. That's kind of where I was going with a lot of these guys. So that being said, I'm super excited about drawing this, but that The Mandalorian is starting back up. Oh, it's going to be sweet. But okay, so here's the thing. I'll go ahead and talk about this since I was kind of griping about the whole Emperor thing. Here's the thing. And I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna go ahead and just say what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that when things are started and things are created and whatnot, there's a process, and the process is creation, work on it, build up, that kind of thing. And I was gonna say, it's like, I get it that sometimes stories are changed and they edit and all that kind of fun stuff, and then they do whatever. But I'm gonna say this: the Rise of Skywalker, the mess that it was, there's a part of me that's like, well, it was edits and that kind of thing, it was completely edits and all that kind of crazy stuff. And I think I'm done with the sketch, so actually I can move on. What I was going to say is I recently got the art book, and there is no art in there about the Palpatine, any of that stuff, because you know why? I have a feeling, this is just me guessing, that it was all made up on the last minute, that kind of thing. I mean, it was all a cash grab is really what it was. I'm not gonna lie about my feelings, because I mean, he made new robes. How do you do that? How do you go from, oh, I'm dying, and oh look, it's a dyad, and I can suck your power, and now I have a brand new robe that looks fresh and new and all this. So his force powers made him clothes. Come on. Now, I don't mean to complain. I love those movies, but sometimes even I will be like, come on, guys, this is 100% just making stuff up, a cash grab, just trying to do whatever. But again, I get it. That's what this whole thing is about, right? Making money and trying to tell a story at the same time. Anyway, yeah. So there's a part of me that's like, God, that's ridiculous. But there's another part of me that's like, yeah, but it's Star Wars, and I get to enjoy something, you know? I think that's good for the sketch. I don't want to do too much of the face, because that's all going to be basically detail. And there's no point in me putting all that tiny detail in right now, because I know where it's going to be, and then I'm going to build off that. So let me erase some of these sketch lines, and then we'll come back and we'll work with the Sharpie. But I want my Sharpie to stand out, and so that's why I'm going to erase some of these sketch lines. But the sketch worked out that I don't want to erase too much. But again, I want to make it disappear. If you're working with pencil, you just keep going. You don't have to erase. You just start drawing darker. But I'm going to welcome everybody that skipped. There's a piece of something under there. Hang on a second. I'm going to welcome everybody that skipped. Is it under the second one too? Oh well. I'm going to welcome, like I said, welcome everybody that skipped and get us going with the Sharpie portion. I'm going to say it 5 more times. Welcome everybody that skipped. Welcome everybody that skipped. Okay, just retaping the paper. Good to go. Welcome everybody that skipped. Welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I do a different drawing every day. You can join along and have some fun. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen. Mostly the fine point, but the pen's a little finer than the fine point. It can find things that the fine point can't quite find. I've sketched the entire thing out. I've erased the majority of what I don't need, and I'm going to keep and left myself a ghost of an image to guide me on this Sharpie adventure. So I'm going to go ahead and get right in. I'm going to jump right into his face. Now I've got him, you've seen the picture, you've seen the pose, you know where it's going. So I'm just going to get in there and start with the nitty gritty details, okay? So I've sketched it out, so I'm not just drawing willy or nilly. I know what I'm doing here, kind of. So that's why I'm just kind of drawing random eyes floating like that. Again, it's planned out, so that's all I can just kind of do like this and build off of it. Now he does have a lot of weird detail in his head and all that. Not going to do that. I'm just going to do the details of his mask and the rough outline. But all that I think it should be done with color, no Sharpie. But you'll see what I'm going to do. You'll see. And this is one I don't have him yet. I don't have him in the Black Series figures. I just haven't committed to actually buying this one yet. But here's the other problem. I don't know if I can get him. Like, there's a huge shortage of toys right now because of the COVID, everything that's happening, and I've said it before, especially when I talk about the G.I. Joe series, that I don't think the brands were ready for such a drastic toy run. You know, because everybody being home, just purchasing stuff online, so it's hard to get any of this stuff, you know? So I don't blame them. But man, it's just so hard to get stuff right now. So, yeah, so I don't know if I can even get him now that I think about it. Alright, how's yours coming out? Okay, and also now that I think about it too, I need to thicken up some of these lines because of what's about to happen with the Sharpie. The Sharpie fine point is super fat. It's called a fine point, but it's not made for tiny things like this. So I'm trying to match what's about to happen there. You don't have to. If you're working with pencil, you just stick with what you're doing. But me, I know how it's going to look, and I'm going to try to compensate to make up for that. Okay, so that's about the gist of his mask. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on the rest of him. Okay, there's kind of a jawline, so to speak. And again, I'm not going to draw all the little lines in his head, but I'm going to draw some of these details for his mask. So for his ears, he's got like these big old round bulbous things. He's just such a cool character. Such a cool character. Okay. Same thing over here, just something kind of off. And then it's going to kind of wrap around back to his lobes. And remember, you don't have to draw exactly like I'm drawing. I am kind of, I'm going by pictures, but I also am kind of making it up too. So, you know, draw what makes you happy. And plus, I know his face is very specifically odd. You know, it's got a lot of crazy detail in it. So let's go ahead and draw like his ears. I mean, for lack of a better word, that's what I'm going to call them. I don't know what they are, honestly. But, I mean, it looks like, you know, big ears, and these are his lobes type kind of thing. But who knows, right? It could be part of his brain. Like I said, it's just cool to get creative with all the crazy stuff in here. But again, I want to do that with color. So I'm just going to give him a little pointy dome, kind of something like this. Again, thicken my lines up just a little bit. And I think I'm done with the head. Yeah, because like I said, everything else I want to do with color so it accents that way. Okay? Awesome. All right, so I've got him in a fighting stance. So his neck, all you can really see, I'm going to put, let me draw his shoulders so you see where they are. I'm going to put his robe like this over on this side, and this one's kind of raised up because this arm is up, okay? So I just want to show you how that's happening because he's got a specific collar, but we can't really see it all right now. Let me draw you his front robes, just so you can kind of see where we are. And there, I like to exaggerate them. See, this one's, the arm's raised up, so this one's stretched out, this one's lower, so I gotta kind of crunched it up right there. So now I've got those edges defined, I can go ahead and draw just a little bit of his collar, his little shirt that he's got right here. It's kind of got like this ribbed neck type kind of thing, but it also depends on which version you're looking at, because they don't all look like this. Sometimes he's got like these, you know, the Jedi robes that are all overlapping like this. Sometimes he's got a shirt that is like a big ribbed collar right there. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. And I like to draw like just some lines in his robes, just so you can see a little bit of a difference, you know, some kind of a break in the cloth, in the material, you know, something like that. There we go, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, you know. Okay, so let's see where we're going with this. So that means his arm's going to be raised. Let's go ahead and do it so we can draw his saber and everything. So their arm's going to come this way, a little creased up material because it's all bunged up and bent for the lifting. Now he's got a big robe, and I'm going to have it hanging down like it's up to here, the cuff, but it's going to be pushed down here because his arm's raised. Gravity's going to be having it falling down. So I'm going to do something like this. Okay, then we're going to just bunge it all up and just kind of draw a bunch of lines where it's all wrinkled and hanging over itself. In there, just kind of show it that it's, you know, kind of all wrapped up and hanging down, you know. Because like I said, because it's all raised up right there, we kind of have a reason and excuse to give it a little bit more of wrinkles. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna have his. It's hard to see what's underneath these robes, but there are like animated versions and stuff like that where he's like in the Clone Wars where they have the trooper protective forearms, the little cuffs. So let's give him one of those. We're just going to give him like a little metal piece. Basically an excuse to just draw a forearm like that. And here we'll just do this, and we'll say that there's a seam right there. That's where it's put together. And we'll say that this is cloth, because that's underneath, okay? Alright, so there you go. We've drawn some kind of cloth and whatnot over, hanging down from his arm being raised up. So, for his hand, he's got like a big middle finger in between these two. So we're going to basically be drawing like this around the lightsaber, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. So, that being said, I'm going to draw his thumb over like this. Now, remember, we got to put weight inside there, but we do get to just get creative with just a big old finger right there in the middle. This one around like this. And then we're going to say this one like that. So it's kind of, you can't really see the entire thing, but it gives us a little bit of extra room. So what I'm going to do for the lightsaber, let me draw a line real fast just to make sure I got it straight across. That way it's not going in his head. And I do follow a straight line because I like to make sure that the handle and the blade are one continuous line. So for his lightsaber, I'm going to do something like this. And I don't have a picture of his lightsaber, although I think it's really neat that they actually made his lightsaber in the Force effects. Again, don't have one of those yet, but give me time, give me time. Alright, so it's a simple blade, a simple handle, sorry, is what I meant. And here's what we're going to do. Let me see, did I get it right? Yeah, let me smooth something out right there, because that's going up a little. I'm going to bring that back down, just to kind of hide. Oh, you know what? Let's do the back of the hand too, just so you can see where we are. I'm gonna hide the angle of the blade because I want to go straight across following this line that I did. So I like that. It's good right there. Ooh, you know what? I think that's pretty much what his blade was. It was very simple. It was a really simple blade. So anyway, the way I like to do the blades are I draw, pick up, draw, and pick up very lightly. That way I do like the explosion, the that's coming out, you know. How do you do a lightsaber sound? Do it. Alright. So what I usually do is just kind of draw, pick up, draw, and pick up. That way it's light. It's not heavy like the rest of these lines. It's a light blade, you know? So, oh, I can't turn my arm. That's super hard. So let's see what I can do here. Let me see if I can shift. Okay, so I'm going to draw, pick up, draw, pick up, something like that. I don't have to do it exact, you know, I just am drawing like an edge, basically. But I'm also, you know, just kind of playing around with the weight. That way I'm not really defining too much, like that. There you go. That's a little too heavy, but you get what I'm doing. You get where I'm going. Alright, let me close this off. Okay, looks good. Let's keep going. So I've got this arm up. He's doing a force push. And so we're gonna do some more wrinkles. I'm gonna say that his shirt's coming down like this into his belt. So that means I'm gonna do this one out a little bit like that too. And I don't wanna make him too thin. I'm gonna draw his arm up like this, and his sleeve, same thing. I'm gonna do a bunch of wrinkles and folds. That's kind of the fun thing about the robes, is that we get to do all kinds of crazy wrinkles and creativity on this, you know? Have it hanging down just a little bit. Now it looks a little wide, but just bear with me. You'll see where we're going with this. I'll add some details in a second. So his hand is going to be like this, but remember, it's got that one thumb, or that one finger, so we're just going to kind of come out here and do one of these little force pushes, like his monster claw hand. His finger out too. Well, I mean, all of them are going to be out, because like I said, he's doing like a force push. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to do like the finger, because we're going to say that was kind of almost like a nail. something like that. Let's see, that's the same kind of thing. Metal piece right there. Set off. And now I can connect this and start to add some wrinkles and folds to really make it stand out. Awesome. There we go. So see, we kind of made it come alive. We gave it some life just by adding those wrinkles and folds, you know? Let me add a little bit more point to these claws. Again, this Sharpie fine point, it's not very fine, so you gotta kind of tweak it, you know? Okay. All right, for his belt, let's see. Is there anything special? Again, he's usually wearing a robe, so it's hard to see anything else. So, I think we're just gonna give him a regular old Jedi belt. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, regular old Jedi belt. Okay, so let's again, we're gonna give him the wrapped up part and then a belt. That's how they all do. They all got like a piece of cloth going around and then a belt. So let me do something like this. Then I'm going to add some detail in a second. Okay. Basically, I'm just getting a rough outline just to give me a place to start and stop. And get creative, you know? Because that's the other thing about, like I was saying, in all the pictures of him, he's got a robe on. Or like, you know, when he's in the Jedi Council, he's got a robe. You can't see anything he's wearing, so this is all kind of, we get to get creative with it, you know. Alright, but again, it's cloth, so I'm gonna draw a little bit of wrinkles and folds right here, just to, you know, break it up. So these are gonna be hanging down underneath. So I'm gonna draw one, like, so we'll say this one's coming down here like this. Connect it. That one's hanging down like this. And this one is wrapped over, but still hanging down, or wrapped underneath, like that. So now I can draw the rest of his, all this down. So basically, this whole thing is going to be hanging down here, something like this. Alright. So, before I go any further, again, I'm going to add just some lines, just some kind of something to give it some texture. And edges of these. The color is going to separate them a little bit more, so I know it gets a little confusing that I'm just doing a bunch of lines. But, we'll do some color stuff to separate them. Okay, so now it's just basically legs and boots. So I'm going to draw some cloth down to a boot. Cloth. Same thing over here. This leg's a little bent. So we're going to say something like this. Down to the boot. But you can't really see it. So I'm just going to add some creases and folds. I should probably just do all this with the boot, but that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, that's good. I don't want to go too crazy. I mean, I do. And usually I do. I do go too crazy, so I'm trying to keep it simple. So just a regular boot. I'm going to come down here, draw the leg part, down to the front toe. Same thing. Facing you. So it's kind of coming out like this, and we'll add some detail in a second. Here's more of a profile. Down to the front, the back, down to the heel, in and down for the rest of the toes, like that. And again, let me add just a little bit of detail with a Sharpie fine point. I'm sorry, the Sharpie pen, and that'll kind of solidify this. right. And again, this is just kind of like detail, just kind of giving it like a rough edge, showing that, yeah, it's got some wear and tear, some use on that ankle, you know. A bit of a heel. We'll say this kind of goes over like this. Something like that. Nothing too crazy. So there you go. I say we take care of the rest with color. So that is Plo Koon from Star Wars. So here's how I colored it. Tell me what you think in the comments below, or show me what you did in our Discord group. Just have fun and make it your own, because remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw, and we'll meet somewhere in between. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures with How I Draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button for new videos.